Hi everyone, welcome to this week Microsoft 365 weekly updates. We have only a few slides, so let's start. Okay, Microsoft Defender Proactive User Containment. It's just a reminder, it has already been in preview, now it's just available for everyone. So Proactive User Containment is actually a part of Attack Disruption, and Attack Disruption is enabled in your tenant by default. So what does it really do? So we have to actually talk about Defender XDR, because Defender XDR correlates all the signals from all those different products, like Defender for Office, definitely Defender for Endpoint, Defender for Identity, analyzing all those signals, of course using AI, LLMs, small language models, and if it's recognized some kind of attack, and if it's recognized an attack, right, we'll get some alerts, we'll get some incidents, so actually it can automatically contain an attack, okay, contain the threat. And I just want to mention that there are actually three ways for attack disruption to do it. It can contain the device, okay, and this is the key here, because to do it, it will use Defender for Endpoint. It can disable the user. That's why I mentioned at the beginning that it needs to be set up the right way. There may be some few tweaks you need to do in your environment, because this will be the Defender for Identities, okay, so we can actually disable the user. And now we have this other feature, which is user containment, okay? It's not going to be disabled, it just contains the user. And good thing is, if you don't have set up Defender for Identity, actually Defender for Endpoint is responsible for this part, which a lot of organizations is definitely using this one, right? Defender for Endpoint. Okay, Microsoft Intune. There is nothing really important here. Multi-administrator approval support for device compliance and device configuration policy. So how does it work? If you make any changes to compliance policies or configuration profiles, it needs to be approved by the second admin. So this is basically dual authorization process. And there is another way to set it up in your organization using airbags or different settings. If you're just starting with it, or you have some very basic setup and you want to see how it works, you can do it through multi-administrator approval. Okay, so let's start in Intune admin portal. Where we want to go is tenant administration, and we want to actually go to multi-admin approval, and this is where you would set up and actually create your access policies. I'll show you really quick, guys, what options we have there. So we can create different policy type, compliance for configuration. If someone wants to delete the device, wipe it, then we will need additional approval from second admin. And like I mentioned, there's a better way to do it. This is basically pretty fast and quick way if you really need it. And one more thing, there is a few new settings in the Windows settings catalog. So basically a few new configuration profiles. And what it is, mainly for Microsoft Edge, enable silent printing, allow prices geolocation on the sites, and block geolocation on the sites. This is what we can control now, and that would be almost all the changes. And we also had Patch Tuesday from Microsoft, where two critical vulnerabilities, 0 days, were patched actually, and more than 79 flaws, which I think is pretty interesting. 56% was of those fixes was elevation of privilege. So we had remote code execution, information disclosure, but mainly 56% was elevation of privilege. And let's close this week with some interesting incident. So actually Iranian hacking group, which is called Handala, they breached Stryker, the tech company, medtech company, and actually they wiped 200,000 devices. It is interesting because Stryker has been using Intune to manage their devices. They also had a lot of BYOD devices which they were managing through Intune, and also some of those devices or got wiped or they lost some application, which is pretty obvious. So this is another question, how much MDM has access to personal devices, how we manage them, and what actually happened with them if someone gets access to our system. Because in the end, as we know, we still have a lot of control over BYOD devices. Thank you for watching and see you next week.